Rahul Verma. Rahul, you've heard two politicians with their different perspectives defending their parties. Do you get a sense that Mr. Modi has realized that he wants to make 2024 once again about Modi versus Rahul Gandhi, or dare I say Namdar versus Kamdar, because that's the trope with which he's won 2 elections, and the Congress has not yet given a sufficient narrative to take away from the fact that they are seen as a party of Parivarvad.
Thank you, Rajdeep. Let me make 2 points. As a citizen of this country, I would have, of course, hoped the Prime Minister to give a report card of his government. What did he do right in 5 years? Where did he miss? And what the vision of the country for next 5 years and 15 years going to be. But as an analyst, I know what Prime Minister was trying to do. He is seeing that in last couple of weeks, the opposition unity is exploding and he needs to hit the final nail on the head. And that is what he was trying to do. He has seen that many parties within the opposition alliance seems to be very, very uncomfortable with the Congress party and the way it has been trying to run the opposition campaign. And he's sort of like creating further, through his speech, for creating further divisions within the ranks of the opposition, and also trying to signal first to non-Congress opposition parties that if you stick with the Congress party, then you are going to have troubles in the poll. So he's trying to do that. And second, he knows that some of the planks on which BJP is going to campaign, basically India's image in the global stage and India, rising India, that campaign is already in the motion. So yes, he was using some of the familiar tropes, but it's basically in some ways the attack of BJP on the opposition is going to be on the charges of corruption, nepotism, and dynasticism. And he'll keep reminding voters on that thing.
You know, I'm going to play another chunk of what the Prime Minister said, because as I said, this is the familiar trope. Attack the Congress in particular over alleged corruption and dynasticism, because that is what has worked. The BJP believes in 2014 and 19. The Prime Minister, interestingly, stayed away from targeting the regional parties, some of whom may be, who knows, future allies of the BJP. But listen in to what the Prime Minister has to say about what I believe is his core election plank for 2024. Listen in to Prime Minister Modi.
जिसको जितना जुल्म मुझ पर करना है कर ले, मेरी भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ लड़ाई चलती रहेगी। जो भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप जिन पे सिद्ध हो चुके हैं, जो जेलों में समय निकाल करके पैरोल पर आए, आज वॉशिंग मशीन से भी बड़ा कंधे पे लेकर के महिमा मंडन कर रहे हैं ऐसे चोरों का सार्वजनिक जीवन में। लेकिन जो गुनाह सिद्ध हो चुका है, जो सजा काट चुके हैं, जो सजा काट रहे हैं, ऐसे लोगों का महिमा मंडन करते हो आप। लाल किले से भारत के प्रथम प्रधानमंत्री ने जो कहा था वो पढ़ रहा हूं, नेहरू जी ने। उन्होंने कहा था, हिंदुस्तान में काफी मेहनत करने की आदत आम तौर से नहीं है। ये न समझिए कि वह कौमें कोई जादू से खुशहाल हो गई, वो मेहनत से हुई है और अक्ल से हुई है। ये उनको सर्टिफिकेट दे रहे हैं, भारत के लोगों को नीचा दिखा रहे हैं। यानी नेहरू जी की भारतीयों के प्रति सोच थी कि भारतीय आलसी है। नेहरू जी की भारतीयों के लिए सोच थी कि भारतीय कम अक्ल के लोग होते हैं।
So that was the jibe on Nehru, but as you saw, his main focus remains on corruption and Parivarvad, which he believes has in a way finished the Congress party or eaten up the Congress party. You know, Ajay Alok, should this not have been an occasion to focus purely on your report card? What do you stand for? What does the Prime Minister's government, what are the singular achievements? This constant denigration of the opposition is only widening the polarization. This is classic polarization by a populist leader who claims to stand for the people against the so-called elite. The Congress is over. Forget the Congress. We want to know, what does the Prime Minister stand for? What, according to you, are his three major hits?
Party. No, the three major hits is definitely our achievements, which he narrated one by one, comparing with the last 4 to 14 years data. Now, secondly, if the country is facing the biggest problem of nepotism and dynasticism, why should the Prime Minister speak about it? And what led that our country could not achieve in the last 55 years was the main cause, the root causes, nepotism and dynasticism. That's what Prime Minister was highlighting. Now, my Congress friend was telling about economy something, GDP or something like. My dear friend, you left the GDP at 1.8 trillion, we took it to 3.8 trillion. And today when you say that we reached from 11th to 5th position, वो तो अपने आप पहुंच जाता है. The situation was such like that कि अपने आप हम लोग पहुंच गए. और जादू की छड़ी थी, so something went wrong and we climbed from 11th to 5th. When Prime Minister mentioned that in 2014 interim speech, your finance minister said that looking at the size and the enormity of the population of India, and today when we are in 11th position, we take pride. And in the next 30 years, we are going to be number 3 economy. You took 30 years for taking us to number 3. The Prime Minister is taking only 3rd term. This is the difference. Okay. When I say that today the exports have risen from $200 billion to $750 billion, ऐसे ही हो गया. FDI has gone from 22 billion to $46 billion. ऐसे ही हो गया, अपने आप हो जाता है, तो country अपने आप चल रहा है भाई. Foreign exchange reserve from 285 billion to $603 billion. हो जाता है, country runs like that. No achievement of government.
Okay, I want Mohan Kumaramangalam to respond to your point. Okay,
there is no effort, there is no effort.
Mohan Kumaramangalam, like it or not, the Prime Minister seems open to a debate between what happened between 2004 and 14 and 2014 to 24. Is the Congress ready for that debate? You're saying he's not discussing a report card. He's saying, I'm ready.
Rajdeep, if he's ready, then I'm sure any congressman anywhere would be willing to debate the Prime Minister on economic performance. Without a doubt. Throwing absolute numbers that, with one data point in 2014 and one data point in 2024 shows how insecure they are about their real numbers. Every number is to be seen as a percentage of the base, which is GDP. For example, exports I'll give you. On average, 24% of GDP is what our exports were in UPA. It is almost slightly less than 20% in NDA. So every number should be seen as a percentage, not in absolute terms. In absolute terms, the number grows every year. They know that very well, which is why they'll just cherry pick one number in 14 and one in 24 and pretend like they've actually changed the world dramatically. Please, this is childish. And as far as what Mr. Modi said when he quoted Mr. Nehru, it is ridiculous. There is nobody I can think of in our history of our post-independence country who has had more faith in our human capacity, which is why he invested in institutions to build our human capacity. The AIIMS, ISRO, IITs, you name it. All of these were about building human capacity. They weren't PLIs handed out as subsidies to some third party to try and get some manufacturing, which is basically assembling. He was investing long term in building out our human capacity, something that we are not doing today.